Hello guys, Yuvraj here from the Brainstormforce team, makers of the Astra theme for WordPress. And it's a Monday once again. That means you know what time it is. It's time for weekly WordPress news. And this week has been pretty exciting for WordPress related products and updates. So make sure to watch the complete video because apart from WordPress, we also collect some SEO and social media news. So let's start with the stories for the day. So the first story is about WordPress, and it's about WordPress 5.8.1, which was recently released as a security and maintenance release. So I would recommend, before even getting into the details of the story, is update right now if you haven't, because WordPress 5.8.1 was a maintenance release, but it also contains fixes for some important security issues that were recently discovered. So your site might be vulnerable to these issues. So I would recommend that you update as soon as possible to the latest version. So that's the first major update for the day. Talking about the next update is about Jetpack. You haven't heard me talking about Jetpack, but the story is not about Jetpack, but an acquisition that the Jetpack team did. So technically WordPress and the Automatic team did. So Jetpack has acquired a popular WordPress social image generator. So the actual website is also called social image generator. Let me just take a look. I think I delete or close the tab. Let me just quickly open up the tab right now and add it. And there it is right there. So Jetpack team, or the Jetpack team, has recently acquired the social image generator plugin, and this is the website, which is still loading for some reason. So let me talk about the details. This is a plugin that helped you create social media images for your website automatically, or let's say seamlessly. So acquisition with the Jetpack team, or by the Jetpack team, kind of means that, okay, we might be seeing this kind of functionality being added to Jetpack really soon. I'm assuming, I don't know if it will be added to the free plan or the paid version, but I'm excited to see some interesting things happening with Jetpack. And personally, I don't know if you use Jetpack. I personally don't. Make sure to let me know in the comments if you use Jetpack. Mention Jetpack, yes, no, something. Leave a comment down below. I'd love to know if you use Jetpack on your site. And just to give you, all right, maybe the site is down. All right, it's back up. So this is the actual website for the social image generator, and this is how it looks. Beautiful looking website, beautiful design site. So great plugin, great news, and congratulations to the social image generator team. So talking about the next story of the day is about the Brizy page builder. If you already know, we support, or we have a lot of templates for Brizy builder. It's a fantastic plugin or fantastic product in itself. And Brizy has made some changes to how their plans and I say pricing work. And if you already are a customer, then you shouldn't be affected because they are grandfathering all the existing customers into the new pricing plans. But what technically they are doing is separating the Brizy cloud and the Brizy page builder. So the pricing for both products will be separated. So if you are interested in Brizy, if you were thinking of purchasing, or if you're already a customer, make sure to check out the page. Of course, links will be down in the description. So that's an interesting about the Brizy page builder. So there was a bit of technical difficulty there. Ignore that part. So I was talking about an exciting update to another product, which is called Pods. And if you don't remember, or if you haven't been subscribed, why are you waiting for subscribe right now? We recently did a video about how to create custom taxonomies in WordPress using the Pods plugin. So Pods is an extension, or I say it's very hard to define it in very I'd say a short sentence, but it's a very, very exciting plugin itself, and it offers a lot of functionality apart from just custom post types and registering custom taxonomies. It has a lot of pro level functionality which you can test out. So for Pods, the update is that Pods 2.8 RC1, the release candidate 1, is just announced. It was technically done on the 7th, but I recently discovered it, so I thought I'd include it in this. So if you are a web developer who use Pods, or who's looking to create some professional web websites, you might want to check out all the interesting changes and updates to Pods 2.8. So that's the exciting story for the day with regards to WordPress. Now on to SEO updates. There are plenty of SEO updates, so make sure to just quickly navigate through. Of course, there are links in the description with timestamps, and also you should be seeing timestamps on the YouTube player. So talking about the next story is about clarification which Google, or John Miller, which mostly he's the one who is the spokesperson for Google search results. So he made a clarification with regards to site quality. A lot of people wonder if some of their pages on their site are not indexed, they wonder what's wrong with those specific pages. So John Miller specifically said, when it comes to overall site quality, it's not the quality of the missing pages from indexing, it's the whole site. So what I'm reading into this is that not only does your overall site authority, but quality also matters when it comes to specific pages. when let's say some of your pages are not ranking or not being indexed, you might want to take a look at your overall site as well, not just the page itself. So of course, links to all the stories will be down in the description if you want to take part in the discussion or also check it out. So talking about the next story of the day is an interesting discovery made by Brody Clark. He's an SEO consultant. His Twitter handle, of course, will be in the description. And he made a discovery that Google was testing out adding links in Google Snippets. So you probably know Snippets, that the big chunks of like text that appear in the beginning of the page or top of the page like this. And he discovered that Google is now adding links, and he discovered different kinds of links. So he also discovered regular links, but also snippets of text being linked to Wikipedia. So there has been some interesting discussion going around. Of course, you can take part of that by checking out the links in the description. So that's an interesting update for the Google search, or how it's changing and also always keeps changing. So let's also talk about one interesting update. So this story is going back for a second. This is the screenshot for the snippets, or I'd say snippets of text, phrases of text being linked to Wikipedia pages. So talking about the next story, there has been some chatter going around another SEO update that happened between 9th and the 12th of September. So if your site is experiencing some ranking changes, some random fluctuations, you might attribute it to these updates. So there has not been confirmed, or the update has not been confirmed by Google officially, or even I'd say this still under discussion. Nobody has given a sort of answer that, okay, this is very clear that an update is happening. But there are a lot of tracking tools that track SEO updates, or the SEO earthquakes that some people call it. And they have been showing some chatter. So let me know in the comments if you've been experiencing some sort of SEO related fluctuation changes, or ranking fluctuations for your websites or for your client websites. So let me know in the comments if you experience the same thing. So also talking about some SEO, or I say not SEO, but social media updates, Twitter has recently announced communities, which can be, I'd say, a similar feature to something like Facebook groups. So it's still in beta, not available to everybody else, but they did release a video where they showed off how Twitter communities can work. And I'm really excited for this, because I usually am more active on Twitter rather than Instagram or Facebook or any other social media for that matter. So I'm pretty excited for the social or Twitter communities. What do you think about Twitter communities? Do let me know. And if you're interested in testing out communities and joining, we also have one community which you can access, which is the climate and weather community. So if you're interested in talking about the weather with random people around the world, make sure to join the community. Of course, links will be in the description. So that's talking about all these social media updates. Let's also talk about interesting Google update. So you probably know that Google has a Lighthouse tool built into Google Chrome, right? It was recently updated to 8.3.0. So this update technically is quite old, but it was recently integrated into Chrome. So that's why I'm covering the story. And if you don't know, you can just press F12 on your computer, and you will have this kind of console, or I'd say, console pop up, and you can access Lighthouse, which will help you check out the progress of your website, or in terms of like performance, progressive web apps, and of course all the best practices. So it's a nifty little tool that you can use directly in your browser and test out how your website performs. So that's one interesting update for the day. Talking about the next few updates, again with regards to SEO, this was one again. This is another story. This was the actual news that broke out. If you want to check out all the, I'd say, short version of what was updated in Google Lighthouse, I'll also leave a link to this in the description. Talking about the next update is a clarification again coming from John Mueller on how much content should you add to your category post. This is one question that e-commerce website owners struggle a lot with. Even there's no perfect answer to this question, right? A lot of people, anytime you ask somebody this question, they'll have a different answer. But the interesting clarification that came from in the SEO Hours podcast that Google does is what the clarification. I'll just take this down into smaller, paraphrase this for you. Don't add too much content. Don't make it that it's like an entire article in itself. That's the clarification. And of course, I'll leave a link down to the description for this particular story, and also to the exact video, and also with the timestamp. So you can check out the video directly and listen to the answer yourself. That's an interesting bit of clarification, because I always assumed the more content on a category page, the better. And talking about the next story is about a recipe schema. That's an interesting thing. Schema doesn't get too much love from Google these days, at least in terms of the clarification or updates department. So this story is about Google recipe schema, and of course Google is saying that Google may automate the removal of the story. Let me just clarify the story for you. So what happens is John Mueller, or a lot of people observed in the Google search results, that a lot of recipe schema or recipe rich results were appearing for pages that were not actually recipe pages, but listicles about recipes. So let's say you have a butter chicken recipe, but you also have 10 best recipes for butter chicken and rich snippets for showing up for both these kind of results. So what Google clarified that you shouldn't be adding rich results, or you shouldn't be adding structured data or any kind of schema to listicles specifically. I'm not talking about the article schema or any other kind of schema. I'm talking about specifically about the recipe schema. So if you have a listicle page on your site with regards to recipes, don't add the recipe schema, because then Google might take manual action, and Google might also consider developing an internal algorithm update which will take care of this automatically. So if you're into a recipe niche, you have a website about recipes, don't add the recipe schema to any of your listicle pages. So that's an interesting story. And of course, if you're interested in SEO, then Search Engine Journal just recently released a completely free report about the state of SEO, where they interview thousands of like SEO professionals and SEO, might say consultants, and a lot of people, and then they generate a report. And of course, the best part is it's completely free for you to download. So I'll leave a link down in the description from this report. I personally haven't checked it out yet, but I'm excited to take a look after maybe publishing this video. And of course, if I have really good insights, I'll leave that as a pinned comment. And if you read this report, and if you have an interesting observation, interesting data that you can look at, make sure to leave that in the comments as well. And that brings me to the end of the video, because that was the last story of the day. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it, share it with someone who would enjoy watching this kind of content in a short format. And of course, take a look at these videos that I'm putting right here. Also subscribe to our channel by clicking that bell icon. Make sure to turn on notifications so that you can receive updates about these kind of helpful short videos in the future. You're listening to and watching Yuvraj from the Brainstorm Force team. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.